Yes, good evening and welcome to my next prime this evening, talking about mindset, Monday motivation. I hope I'm coming across very well and you guys can hear me well. I was feeling a little bit under the weather, and that's why I've decided then to work from home this evening. And this evening, we're talking about building the mindset of resilience or resilience mindset for success. So let's think about it. What is resilience? Well, resilience is that ability to adapt and bounce back from adversity. It is essential to navigate through life's challenges. So many of us, well, as we know today, like there's so many different challenges that we are currently facing, that we're facing all the time. And whether we succeed or not really is a question of that. It is a question of resilience. And I want to share with you how can we become resilient, and of course why it is important for us to become resilient. So I'm thinking actually of a story. I'm thinking about a story that of what happens when we're still very young. I remember there was a time when when you were young, when you're a young person, when you're looking at some challenges, you can get excited about challenges. You get excited about trips. You can get excited about new things that you're going to be coming across. But as we get older, we kind of get a little bit resistant towards change. We kind of start to have that dread whenever there's change coming. And they say that change is one of those life events that most of us as adults have great difficulty just being able to manage and being able to go through it. And I want to share with you some frameworks tonight. I want to share with you some ideas that hopefully you can be able to apply in your life on how you can best tackle change, but of course, how you can best be able to develop that resilient mindset. Okay, the first point this evening on how do we develop or cultivate that resilient mindset. You think about the word strong, right? And strong is that, as an acronym, for me, stands for that success through resilience, which opens up new growth. Success through resilience that opens up new growth. And that's the word strong. Starting with success, it really is about understanding that I need to be able to have goals so that I can be able to endure obstacles and challenges. It is extremely difficult for all of us to be able to withstand, challenges in life if we don't have goals. And striving towards those goals makes our challenges, it makes our difficulties worth it. It puts value towards whatever it is that we are going out to target. So, secondly, it's about through. How do we navigate through those tough times? How do we develop that strength, that character that is strong to help us to go through those tough times? Thirdly, how do you develop that resilience, which is the cornerstone of overcoming adversity? And then thirdly, how do we open our minds to the possibility that things can change? How do we open our minds to the opportunities that exist out there in the world? How do we open our minds to the perspectives, new perspectives and ways of being able to look at life? And then, of course, new experiences. And that is about how do you foster innovation and creativity? And then lastly, it is about growth. And growth is really about that growth mindset. It's about understanding that we are able to succeed in life only if we grow. Because the moment we stop growing, we start dying. And as I've shared so many times on this very on this very platform, that for me, growth is about that OIPA, right? Which is about being the person that really is an observer in life, not just walking about in life, being an audience, but really learning from every single experience, integrating those lessons into whatever your methods, your strategies, your ways of approaching life. Thirdly, being able to practice the lessons that you've learned. Fourthly, being able to apply those lessons and, of course, repeating them over and over and over again. The second part this evening is about rising. Resilience is about rising, which is increasing strength during during or really increasing strength so that we can develop endurance. So that's right. Why do you have to increase strength? Because the more that we go through difficulties, we have to develop that muscle. We've got to develop that strength so that the next time that we come across similar type of problems, we have developed that memory in terms of knowledge. We have developed that muscle memory. We have developed that knowledge memory. We have developed that mindset memory so that we don't have to start from scratch. And then about building strength, we can build strength in different ways. We can build strength in terms, of course, of building our muscles, right? But also we can build our strength in terms of the resources that we require, the knowledge that we acquire, the team that we build around us, the experiences that we build so that we can be able to improve on our competencies and improve on our proficiency. So that is building that strength so that what? So that we can have that endurance. And endurance is then being able to withstand stress over a long period of time. One of the concepts that I talk about in mindset development as a way of being able to develop that high performance and that resilience is the question of fitness. And fitness is about understanding that whenever you're going through something very difficult, whenever in life rather, or in sports people, they develop the energy to be able to tackle situations. For us to be able to develop energy, obviously we've got to take care of our health. We've got to take care of our mental health. We've got to take care of our spiritual well-being. We've got to take care of our emotional well-being. And part of developing our emotional well-being is also very importantly about understanding that, emotions are a response to the way that we think. And so then by dealing with the way that we think, then we are able to help regulate our emotions very well. And then the other part is that to develop that flexibility. And flexibility is, of course, being able to be stretched under difficult situations, and then we're developing that adaptability. And lastly, that agility. Adaptability, of course, is about acclimatizing to different situations that we are finding ourselves in. And then lastly, agility is our ability then to handle emergencies. Agility we can develop, for example, in terms of the finances. Are we saving up when we are having those good days? Are we saving up for a rainy day or for a dry day? Are we saving up our energy and not just unnecessarily expending it? The other thing, for example, it can be even, withdrawing yourself from situations, whether it be arguments, whether it be fights, whether it be conflict, that you don't have to be a part of. Because what is absolutely true is that at some point in your own personal life, there will be those times where we are having to deal with conflict, we're having to deal with challenges, we're having to spend a lot more money than we need to. And so part of developing agility, honestly, is about saving up for those dry days and making sure that you've got your raincoat for the rainy day, making sure that you're building while the sun is still up. It's one of those mindset practices that I have, is that when I don't have any pressure in my life to achieve anything, I should be building more capacity. I should be improving on my competencies. I should be improving on my fitness. I shouldn't actually have to wait until I'm under tremendous amount of pressure, and then only then I'm trying to go to the gym. Only then I'm trying to exercise. Like when the final day of the race of life comes here, I should be ready to run. So I want you to think about that. And then the other part I want to think about is about regarding resilience. It's about flourishing, and flourishing really is about facing life's obstacles, unveiling your resilience, your resilient inner strength and hope. Sorry, can I excuse my tongue tightness today? I am a little bit under medication because I'm not feeling a little bit well, and so that's why you kind of hear I'm having a little bit of a slurry speech. I do apologize for that. But flourishing. Let me just say that again: facing life's obstacles and unveiling resilient inner strength and hope. Right, facing challenges head on. Okay, understanding that life has obstacles and not going into that mindset of of exaggerating our problems or acting as though that our problems are bigger than what they are. Like every single human being in the world faces struggles. Every single human being in the world has challenges. All of us have different challenges, and we should really be careful that we don't fall into the trap of thinking that there is something special about our own problems, because our problems are not special. Okay. So the other thing is that uh, standing. All right. After we flourish, we got to stand. Standing is about strength through adversity and also nurturing that determination or nurturing that commitment. Okay. What is strength? We're building the mental robustness. We're building that emotional robustness. Just give me a second, excuse me, please. Do apologize about that. Okay. And then the other thing is persisting through those challenges. And again, expecting that adversities are going to come. I think one of the reasons why we end up not being resilient is because we are expecting a smooth ride. We are hoping that at some point all these problems are going to go away or that challenges are going to go away. But the reality is that there's never a time where us as human beings live a life that is problem free, live a life that is challenge free. You know, there are different types of problems, right? They're the ones that we create for ourselves. We can create ourselves by making mistakes, by not being aware, by being reckless, by being ignorant. We can find that there's certain issues that happen in our lives because of those elements. That is true. But the reality of the matter is, quite a lot of the challenges that happen in our lives don't have anything to do with us, but they happen outside of us. You know, we think about natural disasters, thinking about accidents. We're thinking today, of course, about wars. We're thinking about political instabilities. We're thinking about things that happen in the economy, or if you're losing your loved one, or if you're getting some kind of a disease. Obviously, those are factors that are outside your control. And, you know, but we can, at least for some of them, we can be able to prepare ourselves. We can be able to prepare ourselves to be able to handle problems far better. And one of the ways is to have that mindset of understanding that there are certain things that will happen in life that don't have necessarily anything to do with us, but they're just part and parcel of life. If you're having to change jobs and change locations because you're starting a new job, or if you're having to deal with a situation maybe where a loved one has gone through a difficult time. We all know that one of the distressing situations we can ever go through in life is not be able to help the people that we care about. When you see your child is sick, when you see your wife is sick, your husband is sick, and then you find that you absolutely feel like you're absolutely helpless to be able to help them. The, the one thing that we can be able to do is to have that understanding that these things do happen and then I can be able to get help. If these things are happening, counseling can help, therapy can help, psychological, you know, counseling can also be able to help, or spiritual counseling can be able to help. Surrounding yourself with a good support system, or at least if you don't have a good support system, you can be able to go online these days. You know, for example, if you're going on websites like Grief Share, if you've lost a loved one, or you find some kind of support group that has dealt with some of the situations that you've dealt with. Why? Because they'll be able to give you that insight, that understanding of how to handle whatever challenge it be, whether it be the challenge of a divorce or challenge of maybe having cancer or a challenge of you know, moving from one country to the other. These support groups can give you real insight so that you have important understanding or relevant understanding, so that that way you don't feel like you're alone or you are all constantly unsure of whether or not you are experiencing what you're experiencing is normal or abnormal. because part of resistance is exactly that, right? That we don't know whether what we're going through is normal. And because of we don't know whether it's normal or not, then we kind of get a bit more anxious. And then lastly, I want to think about bouncing. Okay. And bouncing is about building the skills and capabilities over time, emphasizing that personal growth, as I've said already, gaining those insights, and then encouraging. Bouncing also has to do with self-encouragement. Self-encouragement. That sometimes you're not going to have people there. You're not going to have anybody there encouraging you, but you can encourage yourself. And it is important that you learn then to encourage yourself. Okay, so wrapping it up, as we're thinking about it tonight, so I'll just make sure that I've got it right here. Here we go. We're wrapping it up now. So, closing. For us to be able to handle, we drop that this resilient mindset, it's important that we prepare ourselves by understanding that difficult times do happen, build mental strength, right? Build spiritual strength, build emotional strength, acquire enough knowledge, have a strong supportive team around yourself, self-encourage, don't exaggerate the problems that you're going through and try to make them too special, but just understand that every single person in the world does go through situations in life. Don't expect that you're going to always have a smooth ride, and then that way setting yourself up for disappointment. So resilience mindset is an ongoing process. It's something that you constantly are going through, and we should not, again, ever set ourselves up into thinking that we will at some point live a problem-free life. Well, thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. Enjoy the rest of the programming. I'll see you again next week, hopefully this time in studio. Good evening.